let's say someone wants to apply for social work, right? What advice would you have for them?
If you're in it for money, don't even bother.
Hey,
Don't even bother. If you're there, because you want to have money and everything, don't waste your time. Go find something else. I behaved, I passed, which was good.
I passed.
I passed, so that was good. So I knew that in life there are certain doors that we need to open. And there are some that we need to skip. For me, the one to smoke, I knew I would never open that door. But there were doors that I wanted to open, for me to explore, because I want to find myself at the age of 40 plus,
now all of a sudden
and all of a sudden now I'm wearing, ikavela, and I want to, come on, I find myself.
Not ikavela, oh my gosh.
Like seriously, Fabiani vibes and everything. I want to find myself, go long straight,
at 40.
With like, it happens, it's crazy.
Welcome back to yet another episode of EduKnowledge Exchange. And as always, I'm not alone. Today we are joined by Osiyam Tanda, right? So, hi, how are you?
My name, but it's fine.
It's Twabe.
Twabe.
Oh, Twabe.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, GC, I thought it was C.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Unjani though?
Yo, I'm good, thank you. The switch from English to Xhosa, that was so awkward. But nonetheless,
oh my gosh.
It's all good. No, I'm doing well. It's a good day outside, but I'm striving. How are you doing?
I'm good, just tired from life, basically. But I think to quickly dive straight into it, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take you back to your childhood. As Usia, right? Usia, growing up, what kind of a child were you? Or rather, when your neighbor would, if I'd call your neighbor or someone, or would right? I figure, but what kind of a child was Usia when he was growing up? What do you think they'd say?
Yo, like it straight up, without any questions whatsoever, they'll be like, say he's a good guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a good child, and still I am. All my childhood days, I've never had any issues, with anyone, any problems whatsoever. If they need someone to get something done, I was that guy.
You're the go-to guy.
Like, hey, go and buy me bread, go and do this, and everything. Right. They know that I've always been good, and
And did the same behavior translate to school?
Oh, yes, until grade 12. Last 6 months, yes.
The last 6 months? Wait,
last 6 months.
Explain.
No, man, so I was always good. Always perfect and everything, right? Went well, right, until the last 6 months.
What happened?
So they made me feel too comfortable, and I just wanted to get out of the room and just explore a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I over-explored. Went to the principal's office for the first time. But it was those crazy days, man. Like, we were just saying that, okay, I'm finishing up. I've always been good. Always had the good marks. I'm doing well. So
last days,
what do I have to lose? Let me just let it loose a little bit. Camp and stuff. Things were crazy, but I survived.
Oh, my gosh. But now you're in high school, primary, right? And you're thinking about what you'd like to be. In primary, we are given all of these... profound, I would say, according to our communities, careers, whereby it's either you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a policeman, you're a teacher, right? When what would you specifically say you wanted to be in high school and in primary school?
I wanted to be a taxi conductor.
No. No.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
It was a thing we always said with the guys always played around with, because when I was growing up, the guys that were taxi conductors, they were getting paid like 500 a month. Oh. And those guys would wear the DMD, Takish, pants and everything, and Ikavel and stuff. So they're like, this is it.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool and everything. So it's easy. You don't have to study. You don't have to do anything. You just have to open and close the door and shout at people.
You don't have to study. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So no, I wanted to be a psychologist.
Okay.
That is what I aspired and wanted to be. But then things didn't work as well as I wanted them to, because straight after high school, I tried to apply. I didn't get anything, because I finished 2013, 2014, nothing. 2015, nothing. I then moved here to Cape Town. Yeah, I stayed here for like 8, 10 months, and then I went back home, right? And that's where I met the church that I'm currently in, which is called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And through
Okay.
them was able to be converted and then go on mission for 2 years, of which I served in Johannesburg mission. So I started in 2018, and then when I finished in 2020, I had been accepted. To study in UWC. But unfortunately, it was not psychology, but it was
Okay.
something close, which was
Okay.
social work.
Oh,
Right?
okay, great.
Yeah, so I then studied social work in the University of the Western Cape.
And this was your undergraduate, undergrad.
Yes, my undergrad.
So now taking you back to your undergrad, right? How would you say was the transition between high school to varsity? Because in high school, your teacher is there. Uyaxela basiya on this day. You need to submit. Wanga submitted this day. I'm going to call your parents.
Parents,
You're going to
yeah.
go to the principal's office, as you'd said.
Yeah.
You're going to. There were a lot of things, and they knew you by name because
Yeah.
maybe you're in a class of 30, 60 max, and they know you. They know you by name. They've known you since grade 8
Yeah.
in high school specifically. And now you get to an environment whereby maybe in a class you could be 200 students.
Yeah.
Right? The lecturer does not even know your name, might not even remember your face. Yeah, but so how was that transition from having someone that tells you, hey, you need to do this, to having no one at all?
Funny enough, for me, it's the other way around.
Oh.
All right, it's the other way around for me. I sat in front. Yeah, I was one of those people. I don't know what's the word that is being used to call them.
Teacher's pet?
Yeah.
I knew
So
it.
yeah, I was one of
Yeah.
those. Slightly in high school, and even in university. Yeah, I was one of those. Yeah, all my lecturers knew me. Yeah, and I knew them. I would go before their lectures. I'd go and grab their books with them from their office, walk with them, talk and everything. So
Yeah.
that's the person that I was. So there was not much change.
Yeah.
From the time I was in high school to the time that I was in university. So
Yeah.
everything was good. But then I started challenging, some of the lectures, in the way that they were teaching and
Yeah.
saying some things, and that's where I decided, hey, I need to pull back, because I feel like I'm fully invested in this thing, all right? And sometimes when you know too much, it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
It can be dangerous for you. But I was like, hey, let me relax, let me calm down. But then, it was just that for me. It was just totally opposite from the way that you explained it.
Yeah.
It was good. Assignments, I met deadlines because I knew I could not let down that specific lecture because we had a relationship. So I had to be good. I had to catch up with time and everything. But eventually, university caught up with me. Things happened.
Things happened.
I was now one of those you call. I work well under pressure. Yeah.
Oh, the worst. The worst.
I became those ones. I stopped sitting in front. I sat in the back. I wasn't attending much of lectures. I was like lacking. Sometimes I'll be like, no, they're gonna just take 1%. Yeah, well, from if I don't submit tonight.
Yeah.
Like I have 5 days, they'll keep taking 1%, 1%. So it's fine. So I became one of those over time, of which it changed also over time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But now, with that experience, right? Were you, because we know that a lot of first year students either struggle with accommodation, registration, or anything in J.
Yeah.
So there's always like some sort of hurdle that they need to go through. Did you go through any of the above that I've just mentioned?
I did. When you first got to UWC, I think it was on 27th of January, right, when we got here. Oh, it was crazy. We stayed in Kasenga.
Okay.
Right, we stayed in Kasenga for 2 weeks. Sleeping on the floors. That's when we lost the South Point Orchards residence. As UWC, that's when we lost it in 2020, and it was a struggle. It was too much. I stayed for 2 weeks in Kasenga. It was hard. I overspent. That's one thing that I will say is that I overspent because I could not buy like groceries and everything. I always had to take aways and everything. So that really costed me like so much. But eventually, I managed to get a private accommodation, of which I stayed in for 5 years. I just kept moving around until I ended up working for them. Which was really good. Because that also helped me. This year, when I have no place to stay, I went to them. I was like, "Hey guys, I need a place to stay." Yeah, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. Come and stay with us. I stayed with them for free until I managed to get my own place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when accommodation was good, NSFAS was good. Yeah, I didn't have any issues with NSFAS.
Yeah.
From first year until last year, no issues whatsoever. I was really good with it. I behaved, I passed, which was
Did I
good.
behave? I passed.
I passed, so that was good. So yeah.
And since you've had the experience of being in a student private accommodation and at a res, and even though it was just for 2 weeks in Jabon, how would you describe the living conditions in campus residence compared to private accommodation residence with your time at Ekasinga?
Yeah, I can't really say much with my time in Kasinga, but I can say much about now because I'm currently staying in university residence now for the first time fully. Too many restrictions. I feel like that was the same reason why I decided, staying in Kasinga, too many restrictions. So I was like, no ways, I'm going out.
Yeah.
I came into university like at an old age. Yeah, I didn't come in young. So there's a difference now. There are some things that I want to do. Yeah, there's some things that I still want to get around. So now with all the restrictions, I'm like, no. I feel like I'm being kept in like a baby here. So I was like, nah, I can't do this.
Gosh.
I can't do this. Private accommodation works for me. And they gave me the rules. We have 25 rules in private accommodation I stayed in. There were too much, the rules, but I knew they could be bended because there was no one, that was always there. But that thing like took it also its toll, on me because academically, I kind of like suffered a bit because I was too free.
There was too much freedom.
Yeah, there was too much freedom. So I ran away from a structured residence on campus to the one that I can manipulate, and it kind of like costed me, but there was not much.
And was this in first year only, or was it just throughout your schooling career in varsity?
I think third year.
Third year.
I think third year. That's where things started going rogue. Because first year I was good, everything was great. Second year everything was good until towards the end. Third year I got too comfortable. That's all I can say.
And was it like a social life thing? Because at UW there's the barn, there's is South Point, when when NSFAS students get NSFAS, South Point is the place to be, the barn is the place to be. Was it that situation whereby you are too exposed to these places? Now that you're like, hey, this assignment can wait, it's going down there because I can hear the music, I can, was it that kind of a situation?
Yeah, it was, especially in private accommodation. I think for 3 years I was hosting parties. For 3 years. It was crazy.
Wow.
I was hosting like really serious parties. Big parties where I met a lot of people that end up becoming so resourceful towards my progress now. Because they are good friends now. They are people that help me with anything that there is. But then it was a social thing. I knew that in life there are certain doors that we need to open. And there are some that we need to skip. For me, the one to smoke, I knew I would never open that door. But there were doors that I wanted to open, for me to explore. Because I want to find myself at the age of 40 plus,
now
the big
all of a sudden
and all of a sudden now I'm wearing, ikavela, and I want to, come on, I find myself
Not ikavela, oh my gosh.
Like seriously, Fabiani vibes and everything. I want to find myself, go along straight,
You're at 40.
With like it happens, it's crazy. If you go along straight, you see those people. They were like, this one, but now they want to relive their youth. Which that's one of the things I was like, I'm not gonna hold myself to that. If there's anything I feel like doing now, let me explore it now, so that
get it over and done with.
Or later. So it was that life of being social, engaging with people, the barn, yes. Went to the barn a lot.
You enjoyed it too much.
To a point where I got banned, yes, a couple of times. It was crazy. But it's part of growing up. It's part of learning and becoming, the real person that you want to or aspire to be.
And with the freedom, right? Because it's something that we've always spoken about in the podcast in terms of Bana. Most especially first-year students who are not from Cape Town. And get res, right? They are far from home.
Yeah.
There are no parents that can see them. there's no parent that will tell them, hey, at this time when you need to be back, right? So as soon as they realize the amount of freedom that they have, then it's like, hey,
Yeah.
so what would you advise for someone to draw themselves back to themselves? Because at some point you're going to have to come back to yourself and be like,
Yeah.
hey, see, my guy, we've been doing this for so long. And you can see by now our marks are reflecting, but now we're not putting in the amount of effort that we're supposed to, right? And I've heard now that there's an excuse, man, that not an excuse, but it's a post that I've been seeing a lot on the UWC student group on Facebook. Okay, I'm not gonna say it directly, but just to paraphrase, it's something along the lines of, I feel so sorry for my family because the last time they checked, I was smart.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Something
I've
along
seen it,
those
yeah.
lines.
I think I've seen it.
So
Yeah.
it's like, how do you, like, what would you advise for a student that is starting out? As in, like, well, okay, fine, have the freedom, but you need to draw yourself back to yourself.
I like the question, right?
Yeah.
Because it relates back to what I am currently doing, right? So I'm a development officer, right? Under the university, so I'm a professional counselor, right? So I'm responsible mostly for first years, right? Especially male, first years, right? So the only thing that I always say, or one of the things I always say to them, boundaries. You see, when you are from a certain space, right, you coming to a different environment, you need to be someone that has boundaries. Know when to say no, know when to say yes, right? And be able, when you say this friend is not good for you, and be like, you're cutting it off. You just met this person here. I always say that, that's one thing that kind of like comforts me so much. Knowing that I came from home, I came here alone. I didn't come with anyone in Cape Town. Right, and if I'm gonna meet someone here that's gonna be standing in the way, whether it be mentally, emotionally, or whatsoever, of my progress, then I have to cut them off. I will definitely meet with someone else. I always tell them that you need to make conscious decisions about what is it that you want for yourself. What works for you, what doesn't work for you. You need to set those boundaries to know who, Lilo is. All right, you need to know who you are. All right, you need to do like self-actualization, to understand what works for you. If it doesn't work, you leave it. Because if you're gonna do things that are being done by everyone else, where will that lead you? How will you grow? How will you become better? You won't. So you need to know what is it that you want, and then find ways how you're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's something that my mom always told me about. You can never say no to someone else if you can't say no to yourself.
Yes, definitely.
Because it always starts with self, right? Like, even with you being friends with that particular person, you had to allow that friendship. So if you can't say no to yourself, then whatever the next person says, uzawamana, right? So that's really great, man. But also, because you're doing your master's, right?
Yes,
in sports and recreational science,
Yes.
right? And only to find out that there are different kinds of masters.
Yeah.
In my head, when you're doing your masters, you're doing research, right? And that's that. But there are, can you just please take us through the different kinds of masters that you get specifically with what you're doing?
What I'm doing. So I think there are 5 different kinds of masters. There's one that is based on coursework and with no dissertations, and there's one the one that I'm doing. It's like research based, and then you have one that is structured. Like where you attend classes, you have assignments. And then there are other 2, but there are 5 of them. I think if you can research them, you'll get them all there, right? But the one that I'm doing, mine is research based, right? So what I'm doing is that, like you said, I'm doing my master's in sports, recreation, and exercise sciences.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm doing, I'm writing a full thesis. That's it's crazy because the thing about it, I was just submitting 2 days back. It gave me a headache just to write my proposal. So I write a proposal, right? And then after I'm done writing my proposal, right, which is based on a specific topic that I've chosen for myself that I want to explore on something. So I'm exploring in sports situation, right, and exercise activities that are challenging. Like I'm trying to mitigate, within the challenges that the youth, are faced with, right here in Western Cape. With my focus, in Cape Flats. So that's what my master's is based on. Right. So I write a proposal, and then after writing a proposal, I have to apply for ethical clearance, right? And then I can be approved to write my full thesis, where now I'm doing research, I go into the field to find out what's happening, how can sports help the youth to become better, right? To empower them, right? So that is my
Your research.
my
topic,
research,
yeah.
and
But with your research, when going out, right, will you be going out to the youth in general or youth in sports?
the youth in general, right?
Okay.
Specifically in the Cape Flats,
Okay.
right? So I'll be working with organizations that are there and trying to find ways that I can mitigate, all right, and we can empower the youth, like I was saying. So it's just youth that are there and how we can empower them, of which whatever thing that I'm doing there, it's not just only for Cape Flats, and it's not only for Western Cape. It can be applied anywhere and everywhere. Once my thesis is done and it's fully out there and approved, everyone else can have access to it and they can use any interventions that I put out there.
That's really nice, man. I can imagine myself on some sort of thesis article kind of vibes,
Yeah.
just. But I want to know, with your course that you did in undergrad, social work, right?
Yes.
What does it entail in terms of what is it about when you guys are in class? What is it that you guys are being taught about? Because as a social worker, as people who just come into, I don't know, homes where kids are not taken care of, and then they either take away those kids or they have counseling sessions, with these kids and the parents as well, So that's what we know about social workers, right? So can you just dive deep into what you guys actually do?
Okay. So it's a much broader concept, but what I can say is that what I've learned, right, about being a social worker is to be an advocate, right, is to be for the other, right, is to be the person in between change, right, and transformation, right. So being a social worker in class, right, we learn about a lot of things, right, child protection, families. We learn about a lot of things, how we can deal with those things, how we can help, right, the people of South Africa, the people of wherever we are placed in, to know the rights that they have, but with more focuses, actually with more focus on the kids, on the children, right? Children's rights and everything. We learn all those things, the white paper, the Bill of Rights. We learn about all those things, right? The Constitution of South Africa, everything.
Everything.
We learn about everything, right? Those things are then the basics or the basis or the foundation, that help us, to know how to do the work. How do we bring services, to the people that are necessary, right? And then the ones you mentioned, like making sure that the kids are safe. If a child is not safe, we remove that child from that family, until they are fit. We don't only do that. We work a lot hand in hand with Home Affairs, people with without IDs and everything. We help in that. We do a lot of family counseling, a lot. There's just a big variety of things that we
What you
work
guys
around.
do,
But it's all centered on, I want to say human behavior, but just say human development.
I see, I
Right?
see.
Yeah.
And then with sports and recreation, sports, recreation and exercise science, what are the possible career paths there?
You can be a sport coach, but for me, I think to be a therapist, to do therapy on the sports side, to be that guy, that deals with sportsmen, sportswomen, like on their mental health and everything. I think that's the role, the path that I want to take. But I also want to be more of an academia, right? Most probably pursue being a lecturer, right? But it's still in work.
So-
yeah.
So you can be a sportsman
You can sports
and
coach.
therapist.
You can be a sport coach. You can be a therapist, sport therapist. What else? There are a lot, man.
But it's all around sports,
Yes,
basically.
all around sports.
And with the therapist part of it, does it also cater, or rather, does it mainly look at sportsmen or sportswomen that have been injured? Because, life after you have been injured, especially if you're playing in the national team, for example, and then all of a sudden you're injured, and then you can't play anymore for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Do you also cater for those scenarios?
Definitely, because it messes you up. And it challenges you so much, because that was one thing that you're really passionate about, something that you're really doing, right? So it messes up your mental health. And that's when we come in, right? Then we can be able to counsel you, right? To engage with you, to find better ways or alternatives, to help you cope with whatever you are faced with in that instance, right? So it covers that and a variety of many other things, that you can put out there. Also, like, it's a big thing now. I think I've added it in my proposal. How sportsmen, the ones that we have today, they don't know how to spend. They don't know how to manage themselves. Right, we see a lot of them. I think there's this guy on Facebook. What's his name? I think there's this person on Facebook, man, that talks about my boys or my something, where he's comparing like South African sports, men like soccer compared to the rugby players and everything. How they're like buying land and doing this.
I think I've seen it, and how rugby players have families, and then the soccer guys are just freelancing.
They are there. They spend their money on women and clubs. They post pictures and everything, right? And that's the idea that I've seen for myself, and I've added it as part of my study, right? As to how we can mitigate in those spaces, to help our African brothers, right, and sisters, all people that are really challenged in that aspect, that do not know how to really deal with their finances, how to deal with themselves at large, and how to rebuild themselves. I like what they are doing to this guy, Mofokeng, the one that plays for Pirates. He has a foundation thing now that they've started for him, right? So those are the things that I want to see in most sportsmen and women, right? Building and rebuilding themselves.
That's really great, man. But now, quickly, since you're still a student, are there any social clubs that you are maybe part of that also help with your vision?
Actually, okay, you won't say it now, but I'm wearing I'm wearing a t-shirt here, the Gentleman's Project, right? It's an organization, right? Gentlemen, right? That is for gentlemen within the University of the Western Cape, right? And I'm the public relations officer, right, of that organization. So pretty much kind of like we deal with all things, right? Men, your mental health, right, and all these things. That's our focus, right? It's really good, because we get to educate men, especially now we have a lot of GBV stuff that are going on and stuff. So we are trying to help the men within our council first to understand what it means to be a man. Because there's this thing when daikali and all those things and stuff. So we want to do away with those toxic masculinities and stuff. To come up with a new generation kind of a man, right? So we engaged as men within our council, and we have members that are part of the organization, that we put out there. So it's much easier for me, to engage in those spaces, because, like I said, mental health is my field. I'm really good at it. Counseling, therapeutic stuff. Those are my things. So it's much easier for me to engage in those spaces and to help men, whilst I'm also helping myself, because I need to remember that I'm also a man, and what I'm putting out there, right, needs to be a reflection of what I'm also doing, right? So,
But, it's really great that there are organizations like this, because we know nowadays everything is about women. It's about how women feel. It's about how women are oppressed by men and all of these things. But then we forget, Bana, there are men who are actually good. And there are men who are trying their utmost best to show women that they are good. But I mean, it's really great when a man is working on himself and not for someone else, but for themselves, right? Because even within the HPV, you find that in most cases, and if you look at a lot of cases, people that have been trialed and imprisoned, they always try to investigate after they've been put in prison. But okay, what was the cause of this? And then you find, man, this person grew up with an abusive father,
Yeah.
or something that was happening in their childhood that they've never spoken about, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe the mother or sister or neighbor will come out and say, but this person is reflecting what they saw when they were growing up, and they're basically doing it to the next person because
Yeah.
they're trying to hurt everyone else. And they say a hurt person hurts people.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, hurt people hurt people. Yes, that's the.
Yeah.
So it's really great, man.
It's crazy, actually, that you mentioned that, because I think actually one of the things that I focus on, right, when I meet with clients,
Yeah.
right, I have people that get to be referred to me, that I engage with, and one of the things that in most instances, that I find very common amongst all my clients that I've seen, throughout the years, and more especially this year, family dynamics, right, childhood traumas. Right, those are things that have contributed towards the people that they end up becoming, and the things that they end up doing. You see, I always say that there's a thin line between men and women. I don't like to. I'm glad that you are here as a woman, because in our engagements, I don't like to speak on behalf of someone. Right, let's say we are men and there's no women. I don't like to engage in those spaces. I would rather have a woman to be here, so that whatever thing that I'm putting out there, she can share her opinion. Right. So what I'm trying to get to is that we have this thing as men. So when you have been tested, we bottle things up. Right. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. It happens again. We're gonna be like, okay, I don't want to be traumatic. Let me relax. Let me see how this thing goes. And then it happens 10 times, and it has went over one's boundaries that they've set for themselves. And then what happens there? You burst.
You burst, yeah.
Yeah, you burst, you become too reactional. And then what happens next is when everything that I've been thinking, everything that has been happening, when I'm still failing to confirm it with the next person. Yeah, when I'm challenging you and say, hey, this and this and this has been happening and stuff, and you manage somehow to convince me otherwise, I'm gonna feel stupid. They were like, yeah, why did I even speak in the get-go? Yeah, so most men, they lack speaking. They hold back from engaging, and sharing their feelings, opinions. You see, when it happens to you as a woman, one time it happens, you stand up. You're like, hey, this cannot, no. Yeah,
we draw the line.
We draw the line then. So that whatever happens, happens. After that. Yeah, but with us, men, it's different. Yeah, we like to observe.
And
things.
I'm not sure if it's just in the black culture alone, but I've noticed this where, and I don't think I was supposed to see this, right? It was during a family gathering. Unfortunately, it was a funeral. And then one of the men in the family were told to, because he was crying, right? Mm-hmm. He was crying, and then he was told that now what he needs to do is that all those years of hurt and everything that he's been feeling, he can only cry about it now. So it's like at every funeral, you cry about everything else and what you are currently going through right now, you know? So I'm like, that is actually really toxic.
That's crazy.
Because what do you mean? I've been hurt 10 years ago. And there's been no funeral, Ekaya. And I only need to cry now. You know, so I mean, like, it's really crazy. And it's really great that there are spaces, especially at university level, whereby young men can actually be taught, but hey, my guy, it's okay to cry. It's okay to speak out. Because I think we've had incidents at UW specifically of students committing suicide. I was shocked that a first-year student committed suicide. I'm like, what is it that you're going through? Because at first, my initial thought was academics. And then I'm like, but hey, as much as academics are crazy, this person is coming from somewhere. And we don't know what this person has been going through in that particular place. And maybe something that has happened here triggered what was happening back home. And he's thinking about, hey, nobody to where I am, you know, and all of that. But yeah, man, not to dwell much into that. Not to dwell much into that. I want to go into funding. So as you've said, but now with you and NSFAS, it's been going great. But as we know, NSFAS only funds undergrad. Right? So how do you go about with funding after undergrad?
It's not easy. It's not easy for most. Maybe it is. But for me now, it's not. I've applied, for several bursaries, but I think they respond around August or something. Even yesterday, I just finished one, NRF. Yeah, I finished NRF application. I've never had a debt, with the institution. I've never seen money hanging there. I'm like, how am I gonna pay this and everything? Like it's
Yeah.
really stressful, to think about it. Funding is one thing that I wish more especially people that are undergrad, that they cannot play with, because it's hard. Yeah, having a debt and having to worry about it whilst you're still focusing on academics, that's something else. Yeah, so funding at post-grad level, it's not easy because there's a cap, of 65%, right? You need to calculate, all your um, modules and everything,
Yeah.
and then divide them by the number of how many they are, and then you get the
percentage.
percentage that you have. So if you're like 60 something and stuff, most likely you might have challenges there and there. But if you're
Yeah.
above 65, most likely, you can
You're
get
gonna
it,
get it.
but you're still not guaranteed that you're gonna get it still. So imagine you're at 61, you're qualified, you're running for 65, that
Yeah.
is the minimum, right? And then there's someone who is 80.
You?
Who's gonna get that?
People-
You see?
Yeah.
So getting funding, it's not easy, but I'm just hoping. Actually, I know that I'm gonna get it, because I've tried to work on this thing of saying I think I'm hoping, to like affirming my words to say I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it. Actually, I'm gonna get it. Yeah,
The
but
power
it's
of the
not
tongue.
easy. Yeah, the power of the tongue, but it's not easy. But yeah.
So in terms of like working, right? I heard earlier you said, Bana, you have clients.
Yeah.
So are you already working, or is it some kind of like you having clients? Is it like a side thing that you do besides studying, like side hustle kind of thing, or are you specifically working for a company, organization, government institution, except for UWC, of course?
So currently, ever since I came to Cape Town, I've only worked for EWC. I've never worked at any place, besides EWC,
Yeah.
and like I said, I don't see myself, working elsewhere, right, or not working at the Department of Social Development, because that's
yeah.
where I was the past 2 years for my practicals. But the kind of work that I'm doing now, right, is under the university, of course, under residential services, right, through the Office of Learning and Living, right. I'm a development office, right. Like I said, I'm a development officer, I'm a professional counselor. So there are many of us that are development officers, and we all have a bunch of professional counselors, right, because I did social work and they also did that. Right, so we become automatically professional counselors, and like I said, I'm assigned at a specific residence that I'm responsible for, and everything that has to do with counseling, psychosocial services, all those things, mental health, everything, drift counseling.
They all come to you.
Yeah, they all come to me, right?
Okay.
And other students from different residences, they can be referred to me or any of my colleagues, right? That I'm working with. So that's the work that I'm doing currently for the university. It's good. Yeah, I like
And
it.
then, so let's say someone wants to apply for social work, right? What advice would you have for them?
If you're in it for money, don't even bother.
Hey,
Don't even bother. If you're there, because you want to have money and everything, don't waste your time. Go find something else.
Yeah.
If you are studying social work, you have to be there, with your heart. You have to. It has to be something that you love, something that you are passionate about, helping, serving, and being there, for people. That has to come from you. But luckily for me, in my church, we have something we call a practical blessing, right? Of which, what can I say? It's like we have a patriarch, right? So a patriarch is someone that how do I put this? Like has this sense of a relational power,
Yeah.
right? To pray upon your head, right? For things that are yet still to come, or things that are still yet to happen in your life, right? But then you have to behave, right? There are certain things you can't be robbing people and think that you're gonna be the
You're gonna get
president. You see? So you need to work towards that with yourself, right? So I've gotten that, and there's a line there that speaks about how I need to choose a course or a career path that will not be focused on financials, but that will focus on serving. That will be focused on being passionate about what I'm doing. So that's how it got affirmed to me that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And having served the mission for the church for 2 years, right? Teaching people 24/7, volunteer. It was not work.
Yeah.
For 2 years, 24/7, moving around, Joburg, teaching. I loved it. And then straight from there to university, social work, it became
It became a part of you,
it
basically.
became a part of me. So for me, even counseling, what I'm doing, the job that I'm doing, I don't take it as a job. I take it as a
serving
hobby.
the community.
Because it's something that I love. I love engaging with people. I love counseling. I love hearing more about people's problems because they also make mine seem less.
Like, hey, my guy, you're going
I was
through
like,
a
hey,
lot.
so
I can't be complaining.
so if you want social work, don't focus on money.
Oh,
It's
that's great,
not
man.
for money. It's for
And
passion.
then one last thing before we close off, right? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself doing? Maybe you've relocated. I don't know. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Relocation is not an option.
Okay. Okay.
It's not an option. I love Cape Town.
Yeah.
I want to stay in Cape Town longer, right? If I were to not stay in Cape Town, then Joburg. Those are the two places. If not those two, then I have to go abroad. I need to move away from South Africa,
I hear you.
right? But where I see myself in the next 5 years, I see myself working for the university. I see myself pursuing my PhD, right? I see myself being part of organizations, that I'm not only being called into work, but I'm part of, the executive council, like people that are the deciders of what needs to happen within those organizations, and also helping, upcoming organizations, to become what they really want to be. So I see myself in bigger spaces. I see myself doing things, that are gonna shock me myself. I see myself, married, with kids, being a leader, in the church. I always say this thing as a joke to my friends that I'm gonna be an area servant. So being an area servant in my church is something that is big and everything. So I always say it, and they're like, really? But those are the things that I'm putting there for myself, right? Those are things that I aspire, to receive and to be blessed with time. But I also have to put in. I need to do something. I need to qualify myself for those spaces and for those things to happen in my life in those 5 years going forward.
I hear you, man. And there's a saying that says, "Who Tulani loves this quote very much." If your dreams don't scare you, then you haven't dreamed big enough. Then your dreams aren't big enough. Yes. But thank you, man, for coming and honoring the invite. It was really a pleasure to conversate with you. It was really nice. It was insightful as well. We hope to see you around doing big things, as you say, doing big things. But as you guys have heard it from the man himself, if you want to do social work, you should not be there for the money, but be there because you want to be present and available for the community, to serve the community as well. So if you like this video or you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe on our channel, and press on the notification button for more episodes. And we are out. Bye.